Tucked between India, China, and Thailand, Myanmar, once known as Burma, is a country that feels like a forgotten poem. Its land stretches from Himalayan foothills in the north to lush rice paddies and mangrove-lined deltas in the south. In the center, over 2,000 temples rise from the plains of Bagan, glowing gold beneath the setting sun. Home to more than 135 ethnic groups, Myanmar breathes a quiet complexity, one where ancient rituals blend with whispers of the future. The official language is Burmese. Most people practice Theravada Buddhism, not just as religion, but as rhythm, identity, and inheritance. Roughly 55 million people live here. The capital is Naypyidaw, a ghostly modern city with empty highways, but Myanmar's soul beats in Yangon, its former colonial hub. Join us as we explore the most bizarre and amazing facts about Myanmar in today's travel documentary. The Longi life. In Myanmar, skirts aren't just for women. In fact, most men proudly wear a longi, a cylindrical sheet of cloth tied at the waist. It's not a costume or a relic. It's daily wear. It's formal wear. It's comfort. And it's culture. Picture a crowded Yangon street. Motorbikes hum, past vendors selling betel nut and fried tofu. You'll see businessmen, taxi drivers, even government officials wrapped in longis, each patterned with stripes, checks, or deep indigo dyes. For women, it's called a atamin and tied slightly, differently. For men, the knot sits neatly in the front. But what makes the longi so special isn't just the look, it's the legacy. Passed down through generations, it ties people to their roots. Quite literally. There's no shame in it. No self-consciousness, just rhythm and flow. Western fashion has arrived in Myanmar, but the longi remains, woven into weddings, market days, and even parliament halls. In a world where tradition often gets traded for trends, Myanmar wears its culture, proudly at the waist. Would you wear one? Let us know in the comments. Love in hiding. In the golden land of Myanmar, love is quiet. It must be. Here, public displays of affection are seen as improper. Holding hands, kissing in public, it's often met with frowns, or worse, with silence. Even married couples avoid touching in public. Love in Myanmar lives in the shadows, but the youth, always resourceful, have found their ways. A subtle glance, matching longis at a temple fair, secret notes passed in tea shops, or slipping a rose into a school bag, text messages and emojis have become digital love letters. And parks? They're not just green spaces, they're havens. Couples will sit inches apart, barely touching, guarded by umbrellas opened not for sun, but for privacy. Dating apps exist. So do quiet revolutions. But tradition still holds the reins. Family approval matters. Arranged marriages remain common. And for many, love is less about chasing passion and more about building harmony. In Myanmar, love may not shout from rooftops, but it lingers in every soft smile, every stolen moment, every umbrella shielding two hearts. 3. The festival that soaks the nation. Every April, the heat rises, and with it, a tidal wave of joy. This is Thingyan, Myanmar's New Year celebration, and the entire country becomes a water-soaked playground. Imagine this: streets blocked off, loudspeakers blaring traditional music, people lining the roads with hoses, buckets, and water cannons. And no one, not monks, not elders, not foreigners, is safe from getting drenched. It's a national reset button. Water symbolizes cleansing of sins, bad luck, and the dust of the old year. But it's also just wildly fun. Teenagers hop into trucks and splash strangers. Fire hoses shoot arcs of water across city squares. Elders sprinkle gently. Kids soak mercilessly. Even police officers join the splash. Thingyan lasts for days. At night, floats parade down rivers. At dawn, monks are offered food and donations. It's chaos wrapped in devotion. And amid the soaking, there's a deep cultural rhythm. Gratitude, forgiveness, and the chance to begin again. In Myanmar, the new year doesn't whisper in. It arrives like a tidal wave of joy. 4. Astrology. Rules your baby's name. In most places, baby names come from books, movies, or family trees. But in Myanmar, the stars decide. Here, naming a child is not just personal, it's cosmic. The entire Burmese week is divided into 8 days. Yes, 8. Wednesday is split into morning and afternoon, each ruled by different planetary forces. Each day is linked to a specific letter of the Burmese alphabet. So if your baby is born on a Monday, their name should begin with K or H, born on Friday. Look to P or B, but it goes deeper than letters. Each day has a guardian animal, a direction, and even a lucky color. Naming your child becomes a sacred ritual, often guided by an astrologer or monk. Parents believe that a name aligned with the stars ensures balance, success, and protection from misfortune. And the influence doesn't stop at birth. Many people consult astrology before marriages, business deals, or travel. It's not superstition, it's structure. In Myanmar, destiny starts with a name, and the day you were born might just shape your entire future. Silence in the shadow of monks. They walk barefoot through villages at dawn, bowls in hand, collecting rice and silence. In Myanmar, monks are more than religious figures. They are teachers, counselors, and often quiet kings of influence. With over 500,000 monks and novices, Buddhism isn't just practiced, it's lived. Every male, rich or poor, is expected to spend time in a monastery. Some stay a week, others a lifetime. Shaved heads, crimson, robes, and silent meals become rites of passage. But don't mistake quiet for powerless. When monks speak, the nation listens. Their influence has shaped political movements, peace protests, and national debates. They don't hold office, but their moral authority can outweigh ministers. Walk through any town, and you'll find the monastery at its heart. Children study under Bodhi trees. Elders seek advice under painted pagodas. Even the government, rigid and militarized, treads carefully around the monkhood. And yet, monks adapt too. Some carry smartphones, others live stream Dharma talks. In Myanmar, monks are timeless and timely. They sit at the still center of a country that never stops turning. Tea leaf salad and fermented snacks. In Myanmar, tea isn't just something you drink, it's something you eat. Lafat thok, or tea leaf salad, is the crown jewel of Burmese cuisine. Fermented green tea leaves are tossed with crispy beans, garlic chips, sesame seeds, peanuts, shredded cabbage, and a squeeze of lime. The result? A texture bomb. Sour, crunchy, bitter, umami, and shockingly addictive. But it doesn't stop there. Fermentation plays a starring role in Myanmar's palate. Dried fish with chili oil, stinky shrimp paste folded into rice, pickled mustard greens stir-fried with turmeric and garlic. Every bite carries history of preservation, of scarcity, of survival turned into art. Food isn't just flavor, it's community. Meals are shared from a central spread. Hands are used, not forks. And tea shops are the country's true soul, where men debate politics over sweet milky tea, where students flirt over mohinga, rice noodle soup, where time slows down. If Thailand's food is fireworks, Myanmar's is a slow-burning incense, earthy, layered, and unforgettable. You might not crave it at first bite, but if you stay long enough, it'll crave you back. 7. Women, weddings, and quiet power. In a society often seen as conservative and male-dominated, Myanmar's women hold surprising power, soft, subtle, and deeply rooted. Traditionally, they're seen as the keepers of the home. But that doesn't mean silence, it means sovereignty. Women often control family finances, make key decisions, and hold sway over emotional dynamics. The grandmother is revered. The wife is listened to. The daughter's opinion carries weight, though it's spoken gently. Weddings in Myanmar aren't wild spectacles, they're spiritual unions. Monks bless the couple. Elders give speeches. Gifts of gold, rice, and traditional fabrics are exchanged. And in many cases, property rights favor women. If a marriage ends, it's the woman who keeps the home. Education levels among girls remain high, especially in urban areas. Female doctors, teachers, and traders are everywhere. though representation in politics and leadership still lags behind. Don't mistake softness for submission. In Myanmar, femininity is a force, quiet but immovable. Like the Irrawaddy River, Myanmar's women carve the landscape in ways you don't always see, but always feel. 8. No shoes allowed. Sacred ground begins at the sidewalk. Take one step too far in Myanmar with your shoes on, and you'll feel the stares. In this land of golden pagodas and sacred groves, removing your shoes isn't just etiquette, it's spiritual law. Temples, monasteries, shrines, even certain sidewalks leading to sacred sites are strictly barefoot zones. No exceptions, not for tourists, not for dignitaries, not even for the president. This isn't about cleanliness. It's about humility. Buddhists believe your feet, lowest part of the body, must never disrespect sacred space. That means no shoes, no socks, and absolutely no pointing your toes at Buddha statues. It's not just religious spaces either. Some traditional homes, tea shops, and even market stalls may expect you to de-shoe before stepping inside. Break the rule, and you'll hear it. A sharp hiss from a monk, a polite rebuke from a vendor, or a silent glare that cuts deep. But obey it, and you're not just showing respect. You're entering a different rhythm, one that begins with the softness of your soul and leads to the stillness of your soul, the stillness of your soul. 9. The vanishing city of Bagan. Stretching across a dusty plain along the Irrawaddy River lies one of the world's most breathtaking forgotten cities, Bagan. Over 2,000 temples and stupas rise from the mist like a mirage, remnants of a kingdom that once rivaled Angkor in power and spiritual devotion. Between the 9th and 13th centuries, Bagan was the heart of the pagan empire, a golden age of art, architecture, and Theravada Buddhism. Today, it feels like time has paused. Villagers herd goats between ancient stupas. Pilgrims leave flower offerings at 900-year-old altars, and tourists float above in hot air balloons, the sun gilding the ruins like a dream. But this beauty is fragile. Decades of earthquakes, poor restoration, and political neglect have damaged many sites. UNESCO hesitated to list Bagan for years, due to concerns over preservation. And now, with tourism restricted and military rule tightening, the city risks vanishing again. This time, not by time, but by silence. Bagan isn't just a destination. It's a prayer frozen in brick and gold, a reminder of what Myanmar once was and could be again. 10. The cracked clock of time. In Myanmar, time doesn't tick, it drifts. Power outages are common, especially outside major cities. Internet speeds slow to a crawl. Elevators stop without warning. Streetlights flicker or never come on at all. Life unfolds not by the clock, but by the sun, by the market bell, by the rhythm of the tea shop. At government offices, paperwork is still. Handwritten, stamped in triplicate, and filed in dusty cabinets. Don't expect email. Don't expect urgency. Expect waiting and a smile. Cash is king. Credit cards often aren't accepted, especially in rural areas. ATMs exist, but many are empty or offline. People carry bricks of kyat notes wrapped in rubber bands. Trains run late or early, with no warning. Appointments are approximate, and when you ask for directions, people will say, not far, even if it's a mile. It's frustrating and freeing. Because in Myanmar, time isn't money. Time is space. Space to breathe, to watch, to feel. You don't control it. You surrender to it. Gesamnol. Thanaka, Myanmar's ancient sunscreen. If you walk through a village in Myanmar, you'll see it on every cheek. Pale yellow paste, brushed in soft circles or bold streaks. This is Thanaka, Myanmar's ancient beauty ritual and natural sunscreen rolled into one. Made by grinding bark from the Thanaka tree on a stone slab with water, the paste has been used for over 2,000 years. It cools the skin, blocks sun, and smells like sandalwood and earth. Children grow up with it. Women wear it with pride. Even some men apply it, especially during festivals. But Thanaka is more than skincare. It's identity. It's the feel of home, the scent of childhood, a connection to ancestry that no modern cosmetic can replace. It's painted on brides, dancers, and street vendors alike, sometimes in floral designs or artistic swirls. In a world of Instagram filters and beauty fads, Thanaka stands untouched, quietly powerful, proudly local. Because in Myanmar, beauty isn't sold in bottles. It's smeared on with love, memory, and sunlight. 12. A wedding without vows. Forget tuxedos, priests, and diamond rings. In Myanmar, a wedding can be silent, and yet sacred. There may be no vows spoken aloud, no kiss to seal the deal. Instead, the couple sits side by side, palms pressed together, surrounded by jasmine garlands and close family. The ceremony begins with offerings to Buddha, flowers, fruits, and candles. Monks chant blessings. Elders anoint the couple with drops of holy water. The air hums with incense and quiet reverence. And that's it. No legal document is required, just the presence of witnesses and the consent of both families. Marriage here is less about spectacle and more about harmony between families, ancestors, and karma. In villages, weddings often happen at dawn. In cities, modern versions add suits and cameras, but the essence remains.
Number 13, the red stain smile. Smile at an elder in Myanmar, and you might see something startling: teeth stained deep red. Gums dyed the color of rust. This is the mark of betel nut chewing, a habit shared by millions. Betel is a mix of areca, nut, slaked lime, and tobacco, wrapped in a green betel leaf and chewed like gum. It gives a quick buzz like caffeine and nicotine in one hit, and stains the mouth with crimson spit. You'll see red stains on sidewalks, temple steps, even office hallways. It's everywhere. For some, it's tradition, a cultural marker of adulthood. For others, especially the poor and working class, it's a cheap high and an appetite suppressant. Betel sellers often women sit at street corners, folding the leaf with care and passing it on like ritual. But the red smile comes at a cost. Betel is linked to mouth cancer, dental disease, and addiction. Still, quitting is rare. For many, it's too deeply woven into daily life. To chew betel in Myanmar isn't just a habit, it's a quiet defiance, a cultural inheritance, and a reminder that beauty, like health, is often judged by class.
14. The monk who won the election. In most countries, religion and politics are uneasy neighbors. In Myanmar, they share the same house and sometimes the same robe. Buddhist monks are revered here, seen as moral compasses and protectors of tradition. But some have stepped beyond the monastery gates into political power. During the Saffron Revolution of 2007, thousands of monks led protests against military rule, demanding justice and compassion. Their saffron robes became symbols of resistance and hope. Some monks became heroes. Others became controversial. In recent years, ultra-nationalist monks like Ashin Warathu gained fame and notoriety for fiery speeches, mixing Buddhism with anti-Muslim rhetoric. While many monks preach peace, others fuel division, reminding the world that religion can bless and burn. In some townships, monks have run for local office. Some unofficially guide policy, wielding more influence than elected leaders. Even the military treads carefully around the Sangha, monkhood. In Myanmar, a monk's word can move crowds, shift elections, and quiet dissent. Because here, faith isn't just personal, it's political. Floating gardens of Inlay Lake. Imagine a lake where vegetables float. Inlay Lake, nestled in the Shan Hills, is home to one of Myanmar's most surreal sights. Floating gardens, man-made islands of silt, weeds, and water hyacinths, where tomatoes, squash, and flowers bloom atop the water. Farmers row between rows of crops using an astonishing technique, leg rowing. With one leg wrapped around a single oar, they paddle while standing upright, leaving their hands free for harvesting. These are the Intha people, known as the Sons of the Lake. Their entire lives unfold on water. Homes on stilts, temples on rafts, markets on boats. The gardens rise and fall with the tides, anchored by bamboo poles. They're a marvel of adaptation, born from scarcity, sustained by ingenuity. But modern threats loom. Pollution, climate change, and tourism strain the fragile ecosystem. Still, When the morning mist lifts and the lake mirrors the sky, it feels like time has slipped. And you're left watching farmers float on clouds, growing food on water, and living in rhythm with a world that forgets them. Sixth, the gender norms nobody talks about. Myanmar's gender story is like its rivers, shifting, layered, and full of quiet currents. On the surface, it looks traditional. Men dominate politics, monks are male, and women walk behind elders in processions. But look closer, and the narrative deepens. In Burmese animist traditions, Nat spirits, especially transgender or third-gender ones, play sacred roles. The spirit medium, or Nat Kadao, spirit wife, is often biologically male, but dresses and lives as female. These mediums channel spirits in ecstatic ceremonies, gaining status and community. Respect. In daily life, gender roles are complex. Women often run family finances and businesses, yet are underrepresented in government. LGBTQ+ individuals exist, but social taboos keep many closeted. Same-sex relationships are criminalized under colonial-era laws, but widely tolerated in some urban areas. And then there's HPOUN, the concept of masculine spiritual power. Women are sometimes barred from certain altars or monastery floors, lest they disturb this force. Gender in Myanmar isn't linear. It's spiritual, cultural, colonial, and deeply personal. Here, power flows in silence. And the rules? They're written in prayer, not policy. 17, 8 days a week. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. And then comes Rahu. Yes, Myanmar's traditional calendar has 8 days a week. Wednesday is split into 2, morning and afternoon, each ruled by a different celestial animal. This isn't just quirky trivia. It affects everything. Each day is linked to a planet and an animal. Your birthday determines your planetary animal, which guides your destiny, temple rituals, and even baby names. Born on a Saturday, you're a dragon. Wednesday afternoon, you're an elephant with tusks. At many pagodas like Yangon's famous Shwedagon, worshippers pour water over their birthday animal's statue for luck. Astrologers consult these signs for weddings, business deals, even surgery dates. Even modern politicians time decisions around auspicious days. Time here isn't just counted, it's believed in. It's spiritual, alive. So while the rest of the world rushes through 7 days, Myanmar flows through 8, tethered not to the clock, but to the stars. Because in this land, time isn't linear. It loops, it listens, and sometimes it waits for Wednesday. Twice. 18. The land that closed its eyes. Once, Myanmar danced in the global spotlight. After decades of military rule, democracy flickered back to life in the 2010s. Tourists flooded in, sanctions lifted. The world leaned in, and then it all faded. The Rohingya crisis, the 2021 military coup, the arrests, the censorship, the internet blackouts. Suddenly, Myanmar vanished again. Off headlines, off itineraries, off maps. But the people didn't vanish, they whispered. They resisted. They remembered who they were. Students smuggled out videos. Artists painted truth on alley walls. Monks held silent protests with nothing but their presence. Farmers built schools and forests. A new generation of exiles told the world, we are still here. Myanmar is a land that closed its eyes, but never stopped dreaming. It dreams of freedom that doesn't fear dawn, of festivals not marred by soldiers, of laughter without surveillance, of prayers answered not by power, but by peace. And maybe, just maybe, when the world opens its eyes again, it will find a country that never truly disappeared. We hope this gave you a fresh perspective on Myanmar. Like, comment, and subscribe for more journeys into the unseen corners of the world. See you in the next video.